welcome back to 5 Minutes with Dr. A. So we talked about implants recently and sort of started on the topic, and today we're going to be delving into our first case. The only way to be able to appreciate and look at dentistry well and properly in the modern age is to look at different examples of different situations. So this is a perfect example where we're incorporating smile design in with replacing just one or two simple teeth gaps. This particular patient and this particular background of this case is quite relevant and quite straightforward to be able to get our head round, but also has a couple of things that make it quite challenging and interesting to talk about. So we've got a history here of two teeth lost to trauma many years ago. The bone is obviously adjusted and recontoured since then, and we've been using a temporary option to hold the gaps in place for a long time. Now we've come to a situation where we're in a position to think of something a lot more sturdier and more long-term moving forward. So one of the natural discussions was around dentures, implants and bridges, and we decided in this particular case that implants will be a really good natural step up to get rid of the temporary options that we were using before. So we planned this case as well as the tooth next to it. We had to incorporate the other central tooth in mind with this case, which is where the smile design element comes into play. And you will see that actually, unless we recontoured this tooth and made it look slightly different to blend it in with the other central tooth that we were going to be restoring, it wouldn't have looked as natural as it does in the final photos, which we'll see at the end. And that's why the beauty of smile design right at the start of any case makes everything so much more predictable. What we decided to do was 2 single implants, but the main challenge with this is keeping the gums as natural as possible, trying to keep the gum lines and the gum margins absolutely perfect. One of the biggest challenges with implant cases is matching the gum line from one tooth, from a natural tooth to an implant tooth, because things will naturally change and develop based on where the position of the implant is going to be. This is why 3D planning is so important in cases like this, because we can utilize where the bone structure is and where the strength is, but at the same time, for the best appearance and the best healing, we've got to get the implants in the right place to be able to get the natural element of the gums to match up perfectly. And this is one of the biggest challenges in implant dentistry that every one of us will always struggle with. In this particular case, we went down the approach of placing the strategic implants to replace both of the gaps, but what we then did was we did a temporary phase where we used temporary white filling material teeth that are placed in the area once everything was healed to allow us to recontour the gums and get them absolutely perfect by making tweaks and adjustments. It was a case of using that as well as laser soft tissue surgery, and once we had the gum lines absolutely matched, which took a fair while in this case, then that was the time for us to place the permanent teeth that were made of much stronger porcelain structures on the actual teeth to be able to finalise and finish this case. It's a beautiful result at the end, but this required 6 to 12 months of careful planning and execution to be able to get the end result that we wanted. And if we want to do things well, it does take time to be able to do it, and it makes things so much more predictable if we've got the time to do it. Hope you've enjoyed another episode on this programme. You see the links below in terms of sharing and following, so please do subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you soon.